coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so hard. Coping and seething. Yasuke ないかい朝シンクラのミサムない主人公の安家実在の人物を出さなかった作品日本を舞台に繰り広げるのは初めてで俺たち指合いサンシャインでもどうする日本は歴史が深いぞ難航する歴史決定ここで湧いてきたスイートベイビー奴らによればこれからのゲームには有識人種が必要不可欠そこで考えピストル打線風の歴史界で侍信長ケチそこにたまたまYasukeこれしかないひらめいたみんなで OK 頑張って歴史交渉頑張って日本に詳しい人頑張って作ったシャドウス公開すれば批判殺到どうすればいいYasukeとりあえずゲイにして信長と折り合いYasuke日本の誇り肩身は近く春に目かりち立て The power of one The power of two The power of Down to Papa Roach Bleed 182 The power of one The power of two The power of man Engines roar through the ash-gray skies The wasteland burns but hope won't die Every screen's a twisted lie Built to break us, make us comply They poison the heroes, rewrite the tales Turn legends to dust, leave us frail But we're not done, we won't bow down Through the wreckage, we'll take the crown Steel hearts ignite, fire in our veins Freedom's calling, breaking the chains They can't erase what we already know HyperDrive now, let's fucking go HyperDrive time, we're burning the night Blazing through shadows, our stories ignite Will all the fans come ride with me As we laugh at foolish hypocrisy HyperDrive time is now or it's never As long as they rule, let's fucking go forever Forever Oh, forever Forever Go forever
Okay, whatever that was. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or whatever time it is, wherever the heck you happen to be. Ladies, gentlemen, and nothing in between. Welcome once again to another voyage of discovery, racing through the wastes of the internet to the further reaches of sanity on a never-ending quest to rid the universe of absolute bollocks. And oh boy, what a day of bollocks we have ahead of us today, because it is, of course, if you are where I am, and it is the time that it is, then it is March 20th, otherwise known as Y Day, International Cope and Seethe Ubisoft Day. It's Yasuke Day. That's right, baby. In a little over about 8 hours' time, we will have our hands on the game of games. The one we've all been waiting for since July when they, or May, was it May? It was May. It wasn't even July. It was May when they announced Assassin's Creed Shadows, featuring everybody's favorite punching bag. The one and only black, gay, historical. He's not gay. Assassin, samurai, whatever you want to call him. Yasuke. In an unprecedented turn up for the books when Ubisoft decided for the first time in the entire series' history to use an actual person who really lived as the main character, just so that they could crowbar a BLM narrative 5 years later into a game set hundreds of years ago in a country that would never have tolerated such things. At the time, they barely would now, let alone then. It is, of course, Yasuke Day. And what a day. What a day it is to finally be graced with the almighty presence of the one true samurai, Yasuke. Oh my god. Ah, after all these months, after all this time, after all the memes, the parody songs, the Japanese outrage, the constant unending lies upon lies, the plummeting stock price of Ubisoft. It's felting day. That's right, baby. We're going to see what happens. Who knows? For all we know, we could be sitting here in about 14 hours time for WTF Live going, well, seems that 17 million people are playing Assassin's Creed Shadows. And hey, it could happen. It could happen. It's not going to happen, but it could happen. You never know. So yeah, it's a particularly special day of absolute bollocks today, and as is our job to clean up the internet on our quest to rid the universe of bollocks, we will be exploring a few related subjects in the case of Assassin's Creed Shadows. Thank you to, I believe it was Heavenly Jester, who gifted me the game so that I can stream it. Yippee-ki-yay. But before we set off, please ensure you keep your brains firmly inside the vehicle at all times with your eyeballs indefinitely screwed to the screen. Let's see who we've got on the bus as the wheels go round and round inexorably towards the hour of reckoning. JJJ Jr.'s here with the spears. Spears in the chat, if you got them. And of course, then there's me talking about the goal. We do have a bar. I would like it to turn red. That would be very much appreciated. It helps me to justify the time that I will hopefully be able to spend mowing down innocent Japanese people as the giant Yasuke. Justin Davis is here saying good morning. Hey, it's morning for me too. It's ridiculously early morning. Nathan Moon is here. Hello, Nathan. How you doing, buddy? How are you doing? We will get back to Suikoden as soon as possible. It's just a little bit of a matter that we have to attend to first. Rio's here, says good evening. Good evening to you as well. Kind of wish it was evening here. Then I wouldn't have to wait so long before going back to bed. I am knackered. Rio is here. Sardoc is here. That's right, baby. Hello, Grifters. Headbanging time, you know it. Corny Puddle is here as well. Hello to you. Oh, Marvel. Roger Nichols. Zulu Shanks. Now, there's a name I haven't seen before, and what a name it is. People in Japan never had a problem with the British white samurai main character in Neo, but they have a problem with Yasuke, a black samurai. They had a problem with the portrayal of Yasuke as actually historically being a samurai. There's a difference. They changed Wikipedia to try and make it so that history will remember him as actually having been a samurai, as opposed to a work of fiction that doesn't try to also portray it as if it really actually happened, which is why it is such utter bullshit. That's what people are pissed off about. It's got really very little to do with the color of his skin. It's got everything to do with lying about history. It's all good in the hood, though. Anyway, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. And now, if you're liking the stream, guys, there is something I need to ask of you. It's not very hard. It doesn't take up too much of your time. But if you could...
like the stream.
That would be much appreciated, of course. And we will be going into all of the reviews. The embargo has lifted. We're seeing some typical behavior from the shill sites. Of course, we are always the same way. But don't forget, of course, if you have any questions or comments, or it all becomes just a little bit too much for you and you need to pull over for a second, don't forget to tip your driver. All right, with that said, of course, don't forget also your in-flight entertainment can be unlocked by slapping that join button and joining the Grift Force. Keeps the ship in the skies. Get those emojis and everything else as well. All right, well, I guess we have no choice anymore but to get down to brass tacks. Assassin's Creed Shadows comes out today. For me, for some of you it's tomorrow, but you know, it comes out at the same time all over the world, so it really makes a little difference. And people in California actually comes out on the 19th instead of the 20th. So lucky them, I suppose. I don't know. We're seeing some serious BS though in the reviews, and we're going to go into all of that. It's going to have to be a little bit of a shorter show today, as around about about half an hour before I would normally end, I will have to go and take over my fatherly duties for the young princess of the fans, while Mummy Dearest runs off to the hospital to go and check on Princess 2. So we'll be doing that. But in the meantime, let's go over, first of all, to your buddy and mine, SmashJT.com, as he's done a lot of the heavy lifting for us in this case, and fantastic. Gotta love it when someone makes it easy for us. Assassin's Creed Shadows embargo release exposes review shills. Yeah. Did you think it was going to be anything else? Did you think it was going to be any different? Did you think we were going to see some honesty from the journo trash this time? Of course not. That's never happened, and it will never happen, because these people need to butter that bread. They gotta know. They gotta know where their next paycheck is coming from, and that means they gotta make sure that they toe the line, that they are marching in a lockstep, as it were, with the rest of the left. Fox Hills is here as well. Hello, says, are you going to stream this garbage on release? If this red bar gets filled up in the next hour and a half, then yes, absolutely. Although I still owe you guys a gaming stream from before as well, so I will be able to do it for a little while later, most likely anyway. But I'd like to go longer than that and get into it properly and see just how really shoddy and awful this is. So help me to help you. All right. So here we are then. In fact, that's literally how the article starts. Here we are. The embargo has officially lifted, and the reviews for Assassin's Creed Shadows are in. But let's be real. Did anybody actually expect mainstream gaming outlets to be giving out anything other than glowing words in their praises? Well, of course not, because this is about the most controversial game that's come out in the last... I don't even know, actually. This is actual controversy too. It's not like Stellar Blade where gamers are all going, yeah, this looks great. No, this is Assassin's Creed Shadows where gamers everywhere are going, hang on a minute. Was that really actually an Afro samurai? I thought that was just a myth. And so we checked Wikipedia, and sure enough, it said, hey, there's no evidence to support the theory that Yasuke was actually a samurai. But then, of course, the next day, that disappeared from Wikipedia completely. I think, yeah, Veilguard, I guess Veilguard counts, yeah. But I still feel like this one's more... Perhaps it's just... I just don't think I've ever seen a train wreck as bad as this. The only thing I can approximate it to is, of course, Snow White, which comes out tomorrow. Oh, boy. Harvest time. Harvest time for the YouTubers. And Dustborn. Dustborn was, Dustborn was a little... It was controversial, but it wasn't like... It wasn't on this scale. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we checked Wikipedia, and, of course, sure enough, the sentence stating before as a disclaimer that there was no evidence at all that Yasuke was actually a samurai, that disappeared. Then it came back. Then it disappeared again. And then it came back. And then it disappeared again. And if you read all the notes, you could see people arguing Stop trying to revise history just because you want it to be true doesn't make it true. Then, of course, there's the fact that Japanese people would almost certainly have never allowed any foreigner to hold a land or a lordship or a title or any of the other things associated with being a samurai. Let's not also forget that he was allegedly only in the country for about 15 months, maybe up to 3 years, which certainly is not long enough. Certainly is not long enough to take on the oath of Bushido and actually learn it and master it and become part of the code. That's just not long enough. And you had to start as a child anyway. So it's pretty much a foregone conclusion. You were going to be a samurai. If you were the son of the right person, if you were highborn, you were going to be a samurai for your feudal lord, for your daimyo. You didn't just show up and get given the right to be a samurai. Now, what we do know, of course, the actual factual reality of Yasuke is that he was a retainer, which is not a fancy word for servant, basically. He was allowed to carry a sword as a curiosity factor. He was a circus gimmick, frankly. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not like thrilled that that's the way that people got treated back then, but hey, people got treated that way back then. It's a fact. No point arguing with it. It's what happened. It's what 99% of historians actually said, except for one, Thomas Lockley, who decided to write a novel that he would then try to portray as actual historical facts. And this is why Japan is so outraged. That, again, of course, the fact that Ubisoft stole various designs from a reenactment sword company or faction or group or whatever it was, you know, that pissed them off a lot as well. They stole, you know, assets from other properties. They even stole the Sandai Kitetsu from One Piece to use as a promotion for this game. Nothing about this game is true. All of it is a work of absolute historical revisionism. Thomas Lockley was, they proudly stated that they were not working with Thomas Lockley. Then Thomas Lockley showed up on Ubisoft's podcast. At every point, they've been caught with their pants down. They were not welcome in Japan. They had to postpone the game and they had to cancel their appearance at the Tokyo Game Show because they were sure they were going to get lynched. It's just a fact, you know? It would be like trying to say that, I don't know, some like, well, let's look at Doctor Who, for example. Isaac Newton being cast as an Indian guy. It's not the case. There's paintings of the guy. Tons of them. Tons of historical records. They just tried to race swap. They tried to race swap history. Actual fact. So there's that. Anyway, Justin Davis is here for $2. Thank you. Starting the bar off nicely. Says, hey, come on, man. ESPN says it's great. Yeah, I saw that. ESPN. What the fuck are they doing talking about video games? What are you doing? You got no business weighing in on this. Stick to what you're good at. Stay in your lane. Fucking idiots. But thank you for the $2. Appreciate it. Yeah! And James Up, now a member for 11 months. Jesus, that's impressive. Says Princess of the Will 2.0. Yeah, Princess 2 is still in the oven, but she is coming. She's coming soon. And we're just making sure that all is well, which means that I have to stay behind and look after Princess the First. So appreciate you that, James Up. Thank you for your long service to the Grift Force. Appreciate it. All right. So let's get on with the article then. I think I've done a decent enough job of summarizing most of, if not all of, certainly not all of, the controversies surrounding this. So anyway, Ubisoft's latest entry in the long-running franchise has already been showered with near perfect scores from the usual suspects. Now, let's just remember that after they delayed the game, the initial time, which was like 3 months or something, they delayed it till Valentine's Day. We then got a look at the game in January, and it looked like it was riddled with the usual Ubisoft bugs, glitches, and gameplay errors No, you couldn't pet the dog. Yes, Yasuke could run through concrete walls. Fucking nonsense. Fucking nonsense. And of course, the latest controversy as well is the fact that you can run around in Shinto shrines and smash the altars to pieces, which is the equivalent of being able to march into a church in, Assassin's Creed Valhalla if you were playing as a British person, not a Viking, and be able to like set fire to crosses and things like that. As it stands with that game, that's not the case. You could destroy the churches, sure, but you didn't actually see the iconography of that religion being smashed apart and burned to the ground. So there we go. It's sacrilege to the Japanese, and they've been just minding their own business when Ubisoft decided to make this game and insult everybody's intelligence with it. So it's not really hard to see why they're so pissed off. Absolutely fair enough. So are we serious, guys? Here is this is fucking jokes. This is some of the review scores. We'll be going into a few more of them. We'll get into this. We'll get into the weeds because I really want to see what some of the people who made these scores are saying in their reviews to justify them. Review scores a familiar pattern. Here's a look at what the big name outlets are saying. Gaming Trend, which I wouldn't call that big a name because I've never heard of them really, gives it 10 out of 10. Perfection. The game is perfect. This is a score that very few games ever actually get. Very few have ever got even close to a perfect 10. It'd be interesting to see what Famitsu gives it because, they are notoriously stingy about giving out 10s. I think the only game they ever gave a 10 was maybe Ocarina of Time or something like that. Noisy Pixel gives it 9.5. CGM, PSX Brazil, Tech Radar, GameSpew, and the Sixth Axis are giving it 9s, which is amazing. Amazing out of perfect. IGN, GameSpot, and Push Square, surprisingly a little more conservative than the rest, giving it an 8. 8 out of 10. Again, that's saying it's great. Fantastic game. Hypno, hello, buddy. How you doing? Says hola for member for 8 months now. Way, look at you, buddy. Thank you. Appreciate you. And Eris Road is using membership chat here. Oh, no. Gifting a membership. Gotta love it. Thank you. More for the Grift Force. More green for Princess. Gotta love it. So, yeah, I mean, these scores are kind of ridiculous already. I mean, 10s, 9s, 9.5s, and 8s. That's like, it just, I'm not buying it. The game I saw in January did not look like an 8 out of 10. It looked like a 6, 6.5, 7 out of Push, 7.5 from Press Start, 7 from PSLS, 4 out of 5 from VGC, The Gamer, Eurogamer, and Games Radar. So that's like basically another 8. Bizarre. Anyway, the Metacritic score, as it turns out, currently sits at the time of his writing, 82%. And I'll get to Metacritic in just a moment. That has actually gone down 1 point, so it's currently at 81. IGN gives everything a 7, you're right, but they gave this an 8. So it's better than average. This is a better game than most. So there's obviously the Metacritic page as it was when Smash JT wrote this article at 82, based on 70 critic reviews. Of course, the user score was not available yet. It will become available, hopefully, later on today. We haven't actually been able to see that yet because it's not available. But, well, we'll see how it is tomorrow. For even more context, though, the Metacritic score puts Shadows on par with some of the industry's most hyped and heavily scrutinized games like Concord, Dustborn, and even Dragon Age the Veilguard. It did have the exact same score as Dragon Age the Veilguard, 82. And we all know Dragon Age the Veilguard was an exercise in lies and corruption itself. I mean, the whole game was just a vector for the trans ideology to be pumped into your eyeballs. Literally everything about that game was just trying to push the message. And so there we go. Yet there's something off here. Shadows isn't just being praised, it's being propped up as a masterpiece that redefines the franchise. Ironic, as it has, as of this writing, the exact same Metacritic score of 82 as Dragon Age the Veilguard, as long as you ignore the actual audience score, which for Veilguard was 3.9. But our turn is coming, guys. Just a few hours. One good night's sleep. And it'll be out. Glowing reviews ignore major problems. Ubisoft's marketing machine is apparently in full swing, which is funny because you would have thought they didn't have the money to pay for a marketing team anymore. But hey, surprise, surprise. And the review excerpts practically read like a press release. All we're missing is a return to form at this point from these outlets. VG247 says there are problems with Assassin's Creed Shadows. For sure. No, let's read the whole thing first. But it's so much fun to play, telling a gripping story, and there's so much sense of progress and reward for every little thing you do. Well, that's a Ubisoft game, isn't it? Everything gives you some kind of experience point, or stays like, take 3 steps. You have unlocked a new perk. We saw this when we were looking at that video the other day. What if Elden Ring were made by Ubisoft? It was fucking obnoxious. It actually feels like an open world game. They've all been open world games. There's no level-based Assassin's Creed game, no, at least not any of the mainline ones anyway. So, but here's the obvious problem straight out of the gate. The first sentence of this summary is, there are problems with Assassin's Creed Shadows for sure. 100 out of 100. 100 out of 100.
What? What the fuck?
So how do you I mean, even especially with a scoring system that is 100, not just 10 out of 10, one where you could give it a 99 or a 98 or a 97 out of 100. And they literally say here there are problems with it. So it is not, in fact, perfect. Anything that is even a tiny bit flawed or has problems, by definition, should not get 100 out of 100. That means it is absolutely fucking flawless. So straight out of the gate, you know you're not dealing with people telling the truth. I mean, it shouldn't surprise anybody. I'm sure it doesn't surprise any of you fine people watching this right now. But here we are anyway. Here's another one. At the end of the day, it's a game about killing. Well, yeah, it's Assassin's Creed. But here, death and beauty are linked. And the act of killing is given a gravity that must be clearly understood. It's not killing for the sake of killing. So it's an Assassin's Creed game then. I mean, literally, you used to have little cutscenes when you assassinate someone, a key target or whatever, where they say their final words in like a little pocket dimension just to you before you return to the greater world at large, where they have a little cutscene. You kill the guy, fade to white, you have a little chat, and then they die, and you soak up the blood on a feather or a rag or whatever the hell it was and go about your business, and they're dead. That's it. Done. Job done. Target marked and killed. So yeah, at the end of the day, it's a game about killing, but you haven't said anything in any of this that actually differs in any way from any other Assassin's Creed game. Still 9 out of 10. Right. Okay. Great. You haven't justified why it's a 9 out of 10. But hey, I guess there you go. The problem with these is that no one is encouraged to revisit these reviews later and amend them when the hype train has died down and everyone needs to go back to their normal operating behavior. They can't go back and go, really, actually, it was probably only about a 6 out of 10. But hey, there you go. And yeah, James Up, I think you're right, man. I think some of them definitely do say a return to form or something along those lines, or a redefinition of the world or the fucking universe or whatever. Anyway, NME again. Why does NME weigh in on a video game? I don't know. Says Assassin's Creed Shadows is the series refresh badly needed after Valhalla. Fucking what? I mean, I guess we'll find out, but it doesn't seem any different from Valhalla. Showcasing apparently a huge technical and visual upgrade alongside a new gameplay blueprint. I haven't seen anything in the footage that we have of the game to suggest that they've really changed anything except the surface level stuff. You know, the setting, the attire, and of course, the character. So I really don't know what they're talking about. In fact, I've seen lots and lots of footage of Valhalla. I played it around a friend's house. I never bought it. I was checked out by that point already. And from what I saw, Valhalla looked way better than this. Like way better. Much more atmospheric, much more detailed in its terrain. I mean, don't forget, there's loads of glaring issues with this game, in as much as just the Japanese people calling things out, like, why are there sakura trees in summertime at the same time as watermelons? That one was for you, Hypno. Vine was great. I miss Vine. So, yeah, you shouldn't be having these things happening at the same time. You shouldn't be running past freshly in bloom sakura trees while carrying a watermelon, because one happens in spring and the other happens in summer. Even a person grew up in England would know this, as we also have cherry trees. It just doesn't happen. It's fucking nonsense. Anyway, a fantastic story, apparently. Well, I mean, it'll be more or less the same story. Assassin's Creed really hasn't changed its story since Ezio Auditore, really. It's, you know, you get fucked over by the Templars and you go on a quest for revenge. You get pulled into something you didn't necessarily want to be, and you end up going on a rampage of revenge that just happens to coincide with saving the world from oppression. What is interesting, though, is that it looks like Yasuke begins the game as a Templar. The samurai may be Templars or something. Nobunaga may be a Templar. I don't know, but I guess we'll find out. Fantastic story and well-developed characters. Well-developed characters, yeah? Is that what we're going with here? So we've got a girl who is an assassin. And from what we can tell, her entire character is the fact that she is a girl. She doesn't even look Japanese. She looks more like South Korean, or one of the other many dilutions of Asian-looking faces that you see around Asia. Yasuke, of course, it's literally just a George Floyd stand-in. That's literally what he looks like. They've made George Floyd a samurai. Congrats, you muppets. So, yeah, I guess we'll find out if there's any actual characterization around these characters beyond just that they are what they appear to be already. But I suppose we'll find out. Ground the game in a believable era. A believable era, you say, where the Japanese, the infamously secular, insular Japanese have accepted a foreigner as a samurai. Just that one thing alone allows the entire world to crumble under the weight of its own fucking setting. So, believable era, huh? Okay. With the wrong geography, the wrong, you know, elements, the wrong seasons, the wrong architecture, the wrong designs of buildings, everything is wrong. You may be able to say it's believable as a diegesis, as in a secondary world. Yeah, maybe. But that doesn't mean it is accurate. Believable is something you can achieve by just lying really, 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 really well to someone. So what the hell are they on about? I genuinely don't understand. This is fucking bullshit. 1 second. Cup of tea. Gotta love it. Few other games have done such a good job with this setting, as you run through lush bamboo forests before scaling ancient castle walls and sneaking inside to steal treasures. Probably all of that as Naoi, of course, as who they have subsequently positioned as the actual protagonist of the game when it was clearly originally Yasuke. Yasuke was in all the promotions in the very beginning of this, about a year ago, nearly coming up. When they first released footage of this, it was all very, 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 very focused on Yasuke. Because, of course, they were virtue signaling. Look, guys, aren't we great? We made the Black Samurai. We're gonna present. Excuse me. We're gonna present it as if it's completely and totally real, and we haven't actually changed history in any way, shape, or form. By the way, we deleted parts of the Wikipedia page. Well, I've got hiccups now. What the hell? Justin Davis, I see you for $5. Says, I dig Valhalla because I dig Anglo-Saxon history and they got the style right. I understand why many didn't, because objectively the story was boring. That is exactly what my friend said about the game. And it seemed like there was a lot of fucking around in that game as well, and not a lot of getting to the real point, which is a problem that they've had ever since Origins, when they took a year off and came back with a completely different gameplay loop and different mechanics, and they crowbarred in all that RPG stuff that doesn't belong in an Assassin's Creed game. They changed the combat, changed the controls, changed basically everything. But yeah, I think a lot of people were into it because of the setting. They, not that many games where you get to run around as a Viking. Really, not that many. So yeah, fair enough. I understand where you're coming from there. Absolutely. And thank you for the 5. James up for another 5 says, sent you a 7-minute clip of the Japanese government talking about Ass Creek shadows. Interesting. I will try to get that onto the docket before we wrap up the show. James up, of course, always sending me really interesting stuff to take a look at, and I appreciate that, because I am only one man and I can only look at so much of the internet in preparation for one of these shows. So it's always nice to get a second perspective. Thank you very much, James Up. Also, go and check out James Up's work at gamergate2.org for the truth. All right, and Eris wrote us here for £2. Legit currency says, I have to sleep. Have a good one. Yeah, I have to sleep too. But thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it. Yeah. All right. So let's see then. They say you're scaling ancient castle walls and sneaking inside to steal treasures. Yeah, of course you are. Of course you are. It's fun. It's going to be kind of funny to see Yasuke trying to sneak around. As I understand it, he doesn't have the moveset of an assassin. He's lacking several key parts of it, which you can only do as Naoi now, like climbing, sneaking, and actual assassination. Why is this character even in this fucking game? He's not an assassin. This is not Samurai's Creed, all right? It's Assassin's Creed. It's so fucking easy. It is so easy. If there was ever a setting that should have been done very, very early on in this series' timeline, it should have been feudal Japan. It writes itself. Assassins, ninjas. It's like a one-to-one comparison. They are the same thing. Bonkers. Anyway, thank you guys for helping fill the bar up so far. I will be able to give it a little more time later if I can justify it, you know. Anyway, the best thing Ubisoft have done for the series says ESPN. ESPN. I mean, what the fuck are they doing talking about this? It's a sports network. It's fucking bonkers. Stands for Entertainment and Sports Network, or Sports Program Network, or whatever it is. Okay, entertainment, I suppose. Very nebulous. Sports. Yeah, no, this is bullshit. Stay in your lane. These reviews are peppered with vague PR-friendly praise about the massive technical upgrade that I just don't see here. It looks okay. It looks all right. It looks very, very low contrast. You know, very low kind of. It looks gray to me, and that's another thing I haven't really ever said, because of course there's so many other glaring issues to discuss. But it just looks kind of bland. It doesn't really leap out of the screen to me in any way, shape, or form. So that's another issue. And apparently well-developed characters. Yet, when you read between the lines, there's clear admissions that the game has significant problems, and some outlets still give the game a perfect score. Indeed. Going back up to the top here, VG247, quote, there are problems with Assassin's Creed Shadows for sure, 100 out of 100. Where? Okay. How is that even possible? Exactly. Correct. It's not. It should not be possible. You can't say something is a glorious, towering masterpiece of perfection and give it a 5 out of 10. And you can't say this thing has issues. It has major problems, obvious major problems, 10 out of 10. You can't do that. The whole system fucking collapses if you do that. Nothing you say has any meaning. The number scores are useless, pointless, absolutely worthless. If you are saying this thing is not perfect, but you give it a perfect score. Gibberish. Justin Davis for another $5 says, speaking of cultural disrespect, have you seen John Wayne as Genghis Khan? It's a search. It's freaking hilarious. Yeah. I seen that. That's some bad casting right there. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I don't really endorse that either. I really don't. There's some fucking bonkers stuff. I mean, you could say, yeah, the performances were fantastic. And what about Mickey Rooney in Breakfast at Tiffany's, for Christ's sakes? Hollywood used to do that stuff all the time. Although I suspect that a lot of that was because they didn't really have access to many Japanese or Chinese actors in the wake of World War II. Most likely not. But yeah, I get where you're coming from. Absolutely. John Wayne as Genghis Khan is a funny fucking thing. Cheers, Justin. So, sound familiar? This is the kind of excessive praise that Concord received before crashing and burning on launch. The same kind of review padding we saw with Dragon Age before it flopped. Here we go again. Yeah, let's not ever forget, Smash JT will never let us forget, that IGN gave Dragon Age Veilguard 9 out of 10. A game that was, from whatever I've seen of it, boring as fuck. Like a stripped down basic version of God of War 2018 with less character in the combat. And yet they gave it a 9 out of 10 with the quote being, if we never get another Dragon Age, which you probably won't now, baby, at least it got to go out on a high note with Dragon Age the Veilguard. A high note. Really? Is that a Catherine Jenkins high note or a Rachel Zegler high note? What exactly are we talking about here? Anyway, there you go. Let's not forget, Ubisoft's the same company that has now allegedly set up internal teams to monitor what social media and YouTubers say about their games. This really... We've made a lot of noise about this over the last few days, but this really has not received even half as much coverage as it should have. That's disgusting. They are literally siding with censorship to make sure you can't say anything. And of course, just like Mercante, just like Kotaku, just like everybody. It's all being done in the name of protecting people from harassment and threats of violence and all that other bollocks that doesn't actually happen ever. I received a death threat. Join the club, motherfucker. It's called the internet. It's the Wild West. Get with the program or get in the sea. For crying out loud. Anyway, they've reportedly flirted with the idea of throwing lawsuits at creators who criticize them, disguising dissent as hate speech or harassment. Yes, well, that's the thing. In fact, I think Smash JT is even doing them a bit of a favor here by using the term dissent, whereas I would just call it criticism. Criticism is not harassment. I don't know how many millions of times I'm going to have to say that before they finally get that through their thick fucking skulls. Criticism is not harassment. It is at most and at least criticism. So go right ahead. Blame Canada. Yes, indeed. He says he covered it in a previous video where he discussed how Ubisoft has grown increasingly aggressive in controlling its image, cracking down on any form of criticism that doesn't align with their carefully curated PR narrative. Well, what do you get when you corner a rat? I mean, it's not a surprise. Ubisoft is a company that is currently facing its own extinction. So I can actually almost understand why they are behaving the way they are behaving, but it's still despicable. It's still unacceptable. It still should be condemned, and I condemn it, frankly. So there you go. Strikes me as some pretty heavy desperation coming from Ubisoft these days, and the reviews of Assassin's Creed Shadows fits perfectly into this pattern. Despite the glowing reviews, the wider gaming community isn't convinced at all. The biggest point of contention, Ubisoft's blatant DEI pushing with Shadows as Yasuke protagonist, complete with bisexual lighting and the ability to make him gay. Oh, that's right, baby. You can make him super duper gay. Super gay. Actually, let me see if I can get that on screen because I have a clip. I have a clip from Manga Lawyer, which I shared myself as well because this is ultimate cringe. Come at me, Ubisoft.
You are more than worthy.
What in the fuck am I watching? It's like gay Titanic. What is this music? The eyes look so fucking Uncanny Valley too. So dead. So oh no. Yasuke's giving him the bedroom eyes. I feel disgusting just watching this. Oh, dude. Look at that as well. That's why the extreme close-up? The eyes do not look real. This looks like a PS3 game when you zoom in as much as that. We all feel dirty, I bet. Fucking hell. And then he literally, oh god. This is worse, by the way, than anything that I saw in Kingdom Come Deliverance.
You are.
They at least had the decency to pull the camera out when there's gay shit going on in that game. This one's like right in your fucking face. Yasuke's bedroom eyes versus small Japanese twink man's eyes.
More than worthy.
You are more than worthy. Of what? Slipping you the old sausage?
And this moment we have shared will be my treasure.
Man, I tell you what, if a guy ever spoke to me like that, I'd brick him in the face. Straight out of the gate. Yes, gay. That's right. Guess how that's pronounced. Yes, gay. Yeah. Justin's got it. That's right. For $2 more. Yeah. Well, hey, the bar is almost half full. Thank you, guys. Ah, fucking hell. Unbelievable cringe. So, yes, you can make Yasuke. Yes, gay. Yes, gay. This outfit has perplexed me for some time now. Imagine my pain having to cut around this and turn it into a PNG file for thumbnails. The historical revisionism going on right now is turning off a lot of long-time Assassin's Creed fans. Hello. And the beyond obvious forced inclusivity feels like yet another attempt to appeal to a demographic that doesn't even buy their games. Remember that also non-existent modern audience they were going for? Yeah, well, the thing that really baffles me about that is we have seen multiple polls, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure Yasuke's seen multiple polls, but we've seen multiple polls where it turns out that there's about 3% of gamers who actually give a fuck about DEI, who actually think it's a good thing. Congratulations. 3% of audiences agree with you. 3%. Bonkers. Gay. Welcome, Adam Juneman. Hello. Ubisoft just can't seem to do anything right these days. No, they can't. They are fucking incompetent. They are beyond incompetent. They are hardcore negligent, is what you call this. You don't call this incompetence. You call this negligence. This is willful negligence. Okay, go ahead. Make my fucking day. They're desperately clinging to the Assassin's Creed franchise as a lifeline, but Assassin's Creed Shadows is looking like yet another manufactured hit designed to be propped up by the mainstream media rather than succeeding on its own merits. He says he'll be playing it for himself to decide, but I won't be holding my breath to be blown away by anything. Who knows? Well, I mean, that is the only fair way to do anything, isn't it? So, yeah. There you go. I mean, look, if I turn this game on in a few hours' time, and I'm absolutely blown away by how fucking-tastic it is, then I will most likely readily admit the game is glorious. You know, enormously fun to play, and characters are brilliant and as well written, and I can't put it down. And that, admittedly, I am someone who is extremely susceptible to the gameplay loop of Assassin's Creed. I've played every one of those games that I actually own for hundreds of hours. So, yeah, and I own almost all of them. So, there's that. So, if I'm not convinced, then no one should be. But we'll find out. Time will tell, but if the past Ubisoft releases are any indication at all, the game's headed straight for a collision course with reality. That's the thing, isn't it? I mean, even if the game turns out to be good, they're going to have to do a lot to convince me to not still turn around and tell people, fuck this game, it's woke bullshit. At the end of the day, I will be blown away by how badly it's made, apparently. Well, again, I look forward to finding out and reviewing it as fairly as I possibly can. Just like Dragon Age the Veilguard, I expect to see a massive disconnect between critic scores and player sentiment once the real reviews, you know, the ones from actual gamers, start rolling in. Yeah. Smash JT, of course, understands the same as we all do that the only real opinions that actually matter are the opinions of your peers, fellow customers, gamers. The reviewers long since traded their, you know, authenticity, believability, etc., for access to the industry. That's what Gamergate 1 was about. Open your legs, love, and get a good review. So there you go. So what do we think? Well, we'll find out. Anyway, let's have a look at some more of these reviews. I want to see what's going on. So we've got this from NME, of course. This is one of the 100 out of 100 reviews. Series refresh badly needed after Valhalla, showcasing a huge technical and visual upgrade along with a new gameplay blueprint, blah, blah, blah. We saw that already. confidently sets the standard for for the next games in the franchise. The next games? Are you fucking kidding me, bruv? If this game doesn't sell 10 million today, it's very unlikely that there's going to ever be an Assassin's Creed game again, unless they sell the IP off to somebody else. And to be fair, the IP is worth half or a quarter of what it once was. VG247, there are problems with this is the one. This is the famous one. Yeah, there are problems with Assassin's Creed Shadows for sure. 100 out of 100. What else did I say? Every action has meaning, and the breadcrumbs that tempt you to clean up all the icons on the map are Moorish. Well, I mean, that's just Assassin's Creed Unity again. This may be one of the biggest Assassin's Creed games ever made. Yeah, but it depends what's in it, doesn't it? Because Assassin's Creed has, for a long time now, been about fucking endless traversal and then 5 minutes of gameplay and then back to traversal. It also feels like the most well put together. I'll be the judge of that. I will definitely be the judge of that. Digital Chumps. What a wonderful name. So I should totally believe you then, shouldn't I? 95%. Assassin's Creed Shadows allows Japan to breathe life into a series that has hinged its reputation on tradition. Fuck you. They have literally put a real man who actually lived in a position he never would have been in. And the reason they've done that, the reason they've deviated from their usual formula is purely to lie to you and gaslight you about history. In much the same way that there's people now who think Isaac Newton was an Indian guy. And things like that. Maddening. It represents the culmination of the work laid out in Origins, but never stumbles over its own size and ambition. While players looking for more than just fine-tuned familiar thrills might be disappointed at the big swings, what, like batting a pregnant woman's head off big swings. The Shadows does take a focused narrative, and progressive combat are enriched by an exceptionally beautiful and detailed setting that doesn't actually occur in nature. Ass Creed is pretty much the actual correct name for this now, yeah. Ass greed. Assassin's Creed Shadows acts as the turning of a new page for Ubisoft's flagship, one hopefully leading to another vibrant historical world. What do you mean, hopefully? Did you play it? Fucking digital chumps. All right, CG Magazine with Assassin's Creed Shadows. Ubisoft has finally delivered on the feudal Japan setting fans have always wanted. No, fuck you. This is nothing like the feudal Japan setting that gamers have always wanted. We had that. It was called Ghost of Tsushima. However, some elements have been left behind in the wake of modernization of Assassin's Creed. 90. Half of that sentence, that summary there, is negative. 90 out of 100. 9 out of 10. 90%. Checkpoint Gaming. 90%. Assassin's Creed Shadows is another notch in the belt of this illustrious series, sneaking and stabbing as Naoe or dueling foes in honorable combat as Yasuke. Yeah, right. Running into a fucking house and just killing a bunch of innocent women. Honorable. Bonkers. The dual protagonists, that's supposed to be dual, not duel, you fucking idiots, are a genius addition to all the things we love about Assassin's Creed, even though I haven't gelled with the more recent, huge, open world AC titles. I leave my time with Assassin's Creed Shadows with renewed excitement for the series thanks to a more manageable map size and a great story. Add in the beautiful backdrop of medieval Japan throughout the seasons, and you've got a hit. But which season? They seem to be occurring simultaneously. This does seem like it, doesn't it? like Nathan Moon says, like they've never actually played an Assassin's Creed game. Okay, 1 second, guys. Need some water for my throat. Assassin's Creed Shadows features two characters who are the opposite in essence but complementary in their objectivity. Naoe the shinobi, Yasuke the samurai, stealth versus brute force, both working together for revenge and order of a new Japan. Just fuck off with this flagrant dick sucking that's going on here. What are you doing? No one's buying this. No one believes this. It's fucking unbelievable. Fucking unbelievable. But there you go, guys. So we're getting 9s, 95s, 100s, blah, blah, blah. We can scroll down a bit further, I suppose, and see what some of the lesser reviews are saying as well. Whoa. Creative Block gave it a 70. Game Pressure gave it a 70. PC Games gave it a 70. PlayStation Lifestyle, Finger Guns? Fuck's sake. Game 8. New York Times gives it a 65. Wow. New York Times is woke as fuck. The stories of vengeance in Assassin's Creed Shadows are eclipsed by the game's quieter moments, traversing feudal Japan on galloping horseback and visiting magnificent temples. So a glowing sentence with a 65. Interesting. Dual Shockers gives it a 55. Assassin's Creed Shadows is a bloated collection of uninspired quests that quickly turn into a repetitive, boring grind. While the art and history teams deserve recognition for their efforts, it's all unfortunately wasted on a narrative that goes nowhere, is poorly explained, and has no satisfying resolutions. Yikes! None of the changes and tweaks that Ubisoft brought to the table move the needle, and the game is ultimately more frustrating than it is fun. This is a game that desperately needs to succeed and instead collapses under its own weight. Wow, that's literally the phraseology that I've been using all the way through today's episode. Future Assassin's Creed releases. Why do we think there's going to be more? Why do people keep portraying this as if they're going to make more of these? The company is bust. Do they know something we don't? Because if so, why would they let it slip that the fucking company's in trouble in the first place? As future Assassin's Creed releases, assuming there are any, need to innovate instead of being yet another rehash of games we've already played in different locations. There are other open world games in similar settings that are much more worthy of your time. Hello, Ghost of Tsushima. Wow, so see this one I actually believe. This sounds like someone who has actually bothered to play the fucking game and isn't so desperate to cozy up to a company that may not even exist by the end of this year. Justin Davis for another $5, helping to fill up that bar. We are halfway there. Only half an hour to go now. Says, mod idea, replace Yasuke's face with Donald Trump, and Nexus blocks it. Replace Yasuke's face with George Floyd, and Nexus offers you a job. Yeah. That would be true. And then maybe you could do something about Nexus fucking mods for once you're in the inside. Get promoted to the top and eradicate the DEI. That would be nice. Thank you. Thank you, Justin Davis. Fucking MVP over here today. All right. We've got more. There's still scores to come from The Verge. The Kotaku. The Escapist. They haven't reviewed it yet. Well, they haven't scored it yet. But it sounds like they're all going to be sucking that dick. It sure does. Yes, that's the thing, though, I was going to say, is that Yasuke already closely resembles George Floyd. Only the eyes are a little bit different. So, I mean, this is the thing, though. This is pure fucking cringe. 90 and 100 out of 100 for a game like this. They are saying that this game is better than The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, which gets 99. Better than Soul Calibur with a 98. Better than Grand Theft Auto 4. Super Mario Galaxy 2. Breath of the Wild. 97s across the board there. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. It's one of the highest rated games of all time. Okay. Perfect Dark, Red Dead Redemption 2, Grand Theft Auto 5. Grand Theft Auto 5, the most successful game ever made with a 97% Metascore. Okay, so the Metascore for Assassin's Creed is only 82. But if you ask the individuals who actually reviewed it, NME and VG247 think this game is better than all of these. Metroid Prime, Grand Theft Auto 3, Super Mario Odyssey, Halo Combat Evolved. What the fuck? NFL 2K1? Okay. Half-Life 2, BioShock. Are you shitting me? GoldenEye 007, Uncharted 2, Resident Evil 4, Baldur's Gate. The orange box, for Christ's sakes, that's Portal. That's Portal and Counter-Strike. No, Team Fortress 2, rather. Not Counter-Strike. I always mix them up. Fucking hell. Mass Effect 2, Tekken 3. What else? Elden Ring, Skyrim, Half-Life, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Wind Waker, Gran Turismo, Metal Gear 2. What else? What else? Vice City, The Legend of Zelda's fucking collector's edition for the GameCube. Halo 2, Gran Turismo 3, The Last of Us, Legend of Zelda, fucking Twilight Princess and Link's Awakening, Red Dead 1, Portal 2, Final Fantasy 9, God of War, Astrobot, Devil May Cry, Arkham City, Metroid Prime 2. Fucking hell. Or is that Metroid Prime 1? Yeah. All of these games, all of these incredible, celebrated, beloved titles have got lower scores than VG247 gave to Assassin's Creed Shadows. Assassin's Creed Shadows is better than that illustrious list of games I just rattled off. BioShock Infinite, Halo 3, for fuck's sake. Metal Gear Solid. Fucking Grim Fandango, Super Mario Bros. 3. Metal Gear Solid 3. No. God of War, the original. Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Wait, where are the other Smash Bros? Did that actually get a higher score than all the others? Okay. Gran Turismo 2, Last of Us 2. I fuck Last of Us 2, but hey. So all of these games that are like household names, all of these games, Persona 4, Persona 5, Quake 3, Street Fighter 4, SSX 2000, StarCraft 2, God of War 2, Mario 3D World, Okami, Fallout 3, Gears of War, Soul Calibur 2. Fucking unbelievable. All of these games apparently are not as good as Assassin's Creed Shadows. What else? I mean, it goes on and on and on and on and on. I mean, any game that's in the high 90s or even the low 90s is being beaten out here in some reviewers' opinions by Assassin's Creed Shadows. The absolute zenith, the ultimate pinnacle of gaming as we've ever seen it ever in history, in the history of the medium, in the history of the genre. Assassin's Creed Shadows is the greatest of all time. Beautiful Joe, Rock Band 3, Mario Kart, Resident Evil 4 again, Uncharted 4, World of Warcraft. Are you having a giraffe? What the fuck are you talking about? How can this game be better than all of these games? There's royalty in this list. Eternal Darkness, The Sims, Bloodborne. God's sakes. Witcher 3, Final Fantasy 12. Okay, not everyone loved that. Melee, for crying out loud. What else? What else is Assassin's Creed better than? Undertale, Arkham Asylum, Super Mario Sunshine, Tony Hawk's Underground, Final Fantasy 10? I don't think so, buddy. I do not think so. In fact, if anything, just going through this list is showing me how fucking absurd review scores are in the first place. Like, Final Fantasy 12 got a higher score than Final Fantasy 10. You will be hard pressed to find someone who thinks 12 is actually better than 10. Or that Brawl is better than Melee. I mean, I like Brawl. Mario Kart 8, one of the most successful games ever made, got a 92. Now, of course, yeah, you might say it's a false equivalency again, because I'm saying those are the meta scores, and the meta score for this is only 81. But again, individual reviewer sites are, and some of them quite prestigious ones too, are actually saying that these games are better, that this game is better than those others. Chrono Trigger. I know. It's fucking unbelievable. It's unbelievable that some of these are even in the same conversation. Maddening. Absolutely maddening. Wrath of the Lich King, for the love of fucking God. Just unbelievable. Just unfreaking believable. It really is. And of course, meanwhile, we have the various ways that the Japanese are pissed off about this stuff. We've got the Grums post that was shared with me just a moment ago. Give me a second, and I will try and bring that up. We can take a look at it. One sec. All right. So it's a Grums post. And we can continue to go here. Whoa. Nathan Moon gifting 5 memberships. Thank you very much. More green for Princess of the fans. More Grift Force for everybody.
There's one thing you better know, and that is, I love all of y'all. Listen, can I explain something to you about being a daddy?
Don't try to frighten us with your
The
devotion.
daddy is the breadwinner. You dig what I'm saying? And if you don't win that bread, it just don't come around.
There we go. Thank you very much for gifting the 5. The bar doesn't reflect it, but I know where it is. Still, we're doing quite good. We're only about $20 away from filling it all up and getting a few extra hours to play that shit piece game for you guys later. Anyway, there we go. So, what's Grums say, actually? It says, let me explain how badly Ubisoft messed this up from my experience at OG Blizzard. We know Ubisoft hired US and UE-based historians and consultants, quote unquote. Yes, they did. They were not gamers and probably didn't even get access to the game. They were also not native in-country historians. When we were doing the simultaneous rollout of World of Warcraft in Korea and soon after in China, we were very careful to respect Korean and Chinese culture and make sure we didn't mix them up or cross any cultural lines. That's a fuck up that a lot of people make. To do this, we had local offices on the ground in Korea staffed by gamers, and in China, we relied on our partner who also had gamers who played the game extensively before release. Case of Korea had the team set up in real-time localization databases so that new items and new text was entered daily by the level and idea team. Korea got this data the instant we entered it. This is huge as it allowed for 6 to 12 months of feedback before launch on a continuous basis. Right. See, that's called diligence. That's called due diligence. That's what that is. That's actually trying to respect cultures. It says, Assassin's Creed Shadows has a budget at least 5 times what we had on World of Warcraft. They did nothing to properly safeguard the culture of Japan. They were portraying and advertising as historically accurate. History accurate developers, guys. That's a good point, actually. I haven't checked today, but technically it is the 20th of March for me right now. So, is Yasuke Simulator out yet? Because, I definitely want to be playing that as much as I can as well. Yes, I'm just going to check quickly. I can't put it on screen because it's a separate program. But Yasuke Simulator game plans to unlock in approximately 12 hours. All right. We'll be having a look at that then. Says, I honestly can't say our publisher as big as Ubisoft messes this up this badly. has the resources and should have the knowledge and international presence to pull this off very well. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, this is a fucking great, big, quadruple A development company. They should be able to put boots on the ground in any of these countries and have people saying they're saying that that's fucking nonsense. They don't have what it takes to put people there and have them work to respect the culture of the country that they are bastardizing by making this fucking game. There we go. In any case, the address of Assassin's Creed Shadows issue at the National Diet of Japan with English subtitles. All right, let's take a look. We would like to ask you about the game Assassin's Creed Shadows, which has been the talk of the town recently. This is about Assassin's Creed Shadows, a game software produced by the French company Ubisoft, which is due to be released tomorrow. Oh, wow, this is fucking recent. Okay. Hello, Dramatic Law. And they're calling it Ubisoft. Nice. That's what we all used to call it. An advanced demo play video has been uploaded on YouTube overseas. That is marked with the actual name of the Itate Hyozu Shrine. The actual Hariman no Kuni Susha Itate Hyozu Shrine in Himeji, Hyogo Prefecture, which is the area of my political activities, will appear. Main character in the game, a supposed samurai, wields a sword, and drums and altars used in rituals. Blah, 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 blah. Wait. What was that? At sacred sites in shrines, mirrors in which the spirit of the gods dwells, etc. Yeah, that's the thing. They have the mirror in the shrine is to show the gods. Yeah, it's to reveal them to you, apparently. Where is this video from? Grum shared it. It's some national diet of Japan, apparently. This is yesterday too. James Op shared it. Thank you for that. And then they attack the people who come to pray at the shrine and the priests. Shooting bows, etc. violent acts. When I heard about this, I spoke to the chief priest of the shrine, as it is an issue in my hometown. Ubisoft did not apply to the shrine for any permission for commercial use of the name. Flagrant fucking disrespect. Other issues include Todaji Temple, Nara, Tomb of Emperor Nintoku. Is a concrete visual representation of an object that actually exists. All are used for unauthorized commercial purposes. He hasn't mentioned the fact that you can, well, he has mentioned that you can kill people in them. He hasn't mentioned that you smash the shrines to pieces. Today we have the State Minister of Economy, Masaki Oguchi. The number of users, both domestic and international, who enjoy gaming is increasing year by year. Oh, shit, what happened there? Yeah. It's baffling, isn't it? The fact that they didn't even ask. I mean, look, yeah, I'm not a religious man. Okay, I really am not. I don't much care about it. I understand the good that it does. I understand the bad that has been done in its name. Still, this is something you just don't do. You just don't do this. Ever. Don't disrespect people's culture, their heritage, their religion. And you especially don't do it. The guy behind him is laughing, I know, yeah. You don't do it for commercial purposes.
本日はですね、大串正樹、経産副大臣にお越しいただいておりますが、国内外問わずゲームを楽しむユーザーというのは年々増加しておりますが、ゲーム等における固有施設の映像な
We would like to know your views on the unauthorized use of images or of facilities and objects that require a permit for commercial use, for example, in games.
使用することについてご見解をお伺いしたいと思います。
経済産業省大串副大臣。
お答えいたします。
I will
一般
answer.
的なゲーム制作に
In
おきまして
general game
現存
production,
する
it is
固有
only
名詞
natural to ask permission from the person or organization that owns the intellectual property when making commercial use of the existing proper nouns,
商
likenesses,
用
etc.
利用する際には、その知的財産を有する個人や団体等に許可を得る必要があるものと認識をしております。知的財産を無許諾で
Cases of unauthorized commercial use of intellectual property are discussed between the parties concerned. It does make you wonder, doesn't it? I mean, did they have to ask St. Pancras Station to be able to put King's Cross in London in like circa 1900? Or is it different because the structures have changed in the last 100 or 200 years or whatever? I don't know.
利用されているケースにおきましては、個別の事情によるものであるため、当事者間で協議されるものと承知をしております。その上で、神社側等から相談がございましたら、承知を取って。
What's this? By KM1514 Brook, who has a fucking LGBT flag in the bio. Huh. Yeah, I guess you don't necessarily need permission. But the thing that obviously needs to be addressed is the insulting behavior that is allowed. Any consultation from the victim side, including shrines, will take appropriate action in cooperation with the relevant ministries. Well, it would be pretty bad to set a precedent where you can't put real world locations in games, but then again, it's different because of the fact that you can destroy them. Plus, they might just be, the Japanese may be just being hypersensitive because they have a right to be offended.
ありがとうございます。今の答弁ありましたようにですね。
This was the current answer. After all, unauthorized commercial use is never acceptable. Keeping a close watch on this issue. But what is the real... There are problems associated with this. The impact of the corona disaster has also faded as tourist numbers recover. Various regions are experiencing various problems caused by over-tourism. Tourism damage varies from climbing on shrine torii to graffiti on stone pillars. This is another reason, of course. Japan has 100% got a fairly justified bug up its ass at the moment about people coming over and abusing the fuck out of the country for like viral videos and stuff like that. Influencers coming along and just disrespecting the shit out of their country and their culture and their heritage and their locations and I mean, yeah, I guess this might be a little bit reactionary, but also having a hard time necessarily yeah, it's the Johnny Somali thing, exactly. I'm having a hard time arguing with them because I feel like it's their country's prerogative. They may feel different. Whereas in a place like America, for example, they'll be like, oh, yeah, sure, nuke the White House if it's good for the story. You know, I mean, like Independence Day and stuff like that. But
神
I
社
don't
の
know.
鳥によじ登ったりですね、
I don't
あ
really
の
know.
神社の
Honestly,
石碑で
I
落書
don't
きする
really
な
know
ど
it.
観光客の
I'm never going to sit here and sort of confidently tell you what the right and wrong of something is if I haven't really given it some thought. And this is the first time I've considered it from the perspective that maybe this is an overcorrection by Japan. But the problem is that they are currently very sensitive about people misbehaving in their landmarks and on their landmarks. So perhaps this is something that in another era or another setting they might have been a bit more tolerant of, but right now they are probably really in no mood for this kind of shenanigans.
迷惑行為は観光公害とも言える事態であります。私は当該
And there is another element to this, which of course, yes, the GTA thing is that they parody these places. They make buildings like the MetLife building in New York becomes the Get a Life building in Liberty City and stuff like that. Hollywood becomes Vinewood, etc. So you're not actually destroying the real location. And the other thing is that the shrines in Japan are, I don't know this because again, this is something I hadn't considered until this was presented to me a minute or two ago. There's a pretty high likelihood that Japan has not allowed these buildings to be changed, updated, or anything along those lines in the hundreds of years since they were built, because that's the kind of culture that they usually have. They're very traditionalist and things like that. And I don't necessarily think that it is one-to-one the same as in Valhalla, where you can burn churches down, because again, there are two major differences there. One is that in Valhalla, you are playing as a Viking marauder who is invading the land, and you are there more or less purely to destroy churches and take over in the name of the Norse gods or whatever. But at the same time, Yasuke is supposed to be an upstanding defender of the culture of Japan, if indeed he was supposed to be portrayed as a samurai, a product of the system, and thus someone who is supposed to be tasked with protecting it. For him to then be running around smashing up buildings and shrines, and particularly the actual holy altars themselves that they hold in such high esteem. Now that's the other difference, because in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you aren't going around stabbing up priests and burning crucifixes. You just sort of trigger the event where the church burns, and then you see it burning down from like the outside, from what I remember. So it's not entirely the same. And again, it depends, because culturally this country may feel differently about that kind of behavior than another country might. So it's indeed very different, very difficult, very nuanced, which is why it's one of those rare occasions where I'm hesitant to just drop an opinion bomb right on it, because there is a lot of nuance that you could argue from either side. I guess at the end of the day, it's their prerogative.
今回のゲーム機の中で、NPC、ノンプレイヤーキャラクターっていうものに対してとかですね、
concerned that nuisance foreign tourists will visit real facilities and commit acts of vandalism and violence just as they do in the game. That sounds a little bit Jack Thompson-ish.
承諾された
I don't think there's any evidence to suggest that people actually go around recreating the behaviors that they do in games. Otherwise, no one would ever be safe driving a car down the street.
なく使用された施設の映像の中で攻撃や破壊する行為が
Generally speaking, I agree with the with what you guys are saying in the chat, though, that if it's good for one lot, then it should be good for everyone. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, etc., etc., etc. And so, you know, I don't necessarily think that this is like, I don't disagree with what this guy is saying from an idealistic standpoint, but then again, you shouldn't just be able to blanket tell people that they can't use real or perceived real locations in games where where it's again, it depends if it's being done with respect. We haven't really seen the context in which this stuff happens in the game. It just looks like he randomly roams into a shrine and smashes the altar to pieces. If it was a different situation where he walks into a shrine and like drops a barrel of gasoline and then it cuts to a scene of it burning down or something, or if the place is being used as a front for some fucking evil, nefarious shit, then maybe that's different too. It's a lot of context and nuance. I'll keep an eye on it. I will. I'm sure I'll end up with an opinion. I just haven't quite got enough information yet to know what I'm necessarily agreeing with or disagreeing with. I know that sounds a little bit fence city, which I usually detest, but in this case, I feel like more information is definitely needed. Anyway, guys, it's 1 hour 30 at this point, and I need to wrap this up in the next few minutes because I have to go and take care of my daughter. And so I will have to end a little early today. So just bear that in mind. We'll watch another minute or so of this, and then I'll have to wrap up. Apologies about that, but it is, family first and all that stuff.
現実世界で模倣される迷惑行為につながるんではないかと懸念しております。先ほどの神社の宮司さんや関係者の皆様もそれを心配されておりました。もちろんですけど、これ申し上げたいのは表現の自由というものはもちろん尊重されなければいけません。だが一方でですね、長い間地域の方々に培われた文化に対しまして敬意を持って接する。
Yeah, he's right with that. I mean, religious centers are, it's a difficult thing. The other element of this is the fact that a lot of these shrines are still standing today. A lot of these places are pretty much indistinguishable from what they look like now. Whereas the churches in whatever fucking year that game is set in Valhalla, a lot of them were really burned down and do not exist anymore. So it'd be very difficult to prove that this church is this church from the real world in the 21st century, etc., etc. So I don't know. I really don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tough call. Not sure. But you guys, yeah, I mean, I appreciate the discussion that's going on in the chat right now with you guys. Because I think you've all got valid points. And yeah, this is a tricky one. It's a tricky one. I'll have to mull that over. But either way, I'm going to have to play the game a little bit later on today. In the next, 6.5 hours or so until when the game comes out. So yeah, we'll be playing the game for a little while anyway, later on. And there you go. That's what we'll be doing. So I hope you guys will be able to join me for that a little later on. We have a lot of stuff that is going on today and tomorrow, of course, as well. Like I said, it's harvest time for the content creators. We are going to be up to our eyeballs in news and stories and stats and blah, 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 blah for this. And of course, for Snow White, which comes out tomorrow. So, wow, we're going to be fucking busy. Hope you're not going anywhere. If you are here and you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. And I'll try to make it worth your while. No fill in the bar today. We're pretty close, actually, because those memberships don't get added to it. But, oh, well, that is what it is. I'll be back playing the game in a few hours. And then, of course, we have WTF Live that will be happening with Ryan and John in around about 12 and a bit hours time. So I hope to see you then. And by that point, I shall probably have a lot more to say about the game because I will have played it for several hours. And I don't know, I might even play it during that show just for the lols and to get the reactions of the other guys on the stream. So we'll see. Still everything to play for. And indeed, forever to play it in. So hope you've enjoyed this slightly shorter episode of HyperDrive Time, guys. Thank you very much for showing up. I appreciate you. It's always fun to see you guys in the chat having discussions and debates and things like that because it does help me to arrive at well, obviously the goal is to arrive at the most correct opinion you possibly can. And to see all the different sides of an argument is very, very helpful. So I appreciate you for that. I will be back, like I said, in a few hours. I'll leave you with the updated credits at the moment. And, well, till then, take care now and bye-bye. Peace.